What do we do about kids radicalized by Hamas, schools taught to hate Israel, taught to hate Jews by both schools and, of course, the trauma of being attacked by Israel in this war and in others? How do we recover this generation and the next? It seems impossible. I worry that Israel's incursion into Gaza is the best recruiting drive for Hamas in the history of the organization. Every time they kill a terrorist, they create half a dozen more. And there's the famous saying, you can't bomb an ideology, right?
Yes, but also the principle that species adapt and change. So now we are witnessing an extreme. It's the peak of hatred, and there is no place for dialogue and reason. When we were forced to use the last resort, which is the use of force. And Hamas pushed everybody to the corner, challenging the free world and challenging democracies, challenging everybody who's thought that we are over the dark ages of mankind. This is what they did. And they want us to go down to their level. This is why there was no other choice but the use of the sword, the use of the gun. So now the gun is louder than dialogue. This is the reality of war. This is why war is not recommended as the first option. It's always dialogue, and Hamas refused dialogue. They refused to disarm. They refused to recognize Israel's right to exist. They hijacked an entire society. They gambled with children, knowing that Israel retaliation will create more hatred, because this is where they thrive. This is the perfect climate for them. They know when chaos happens. So they wanted to just pull such a barbaric attack in the worst possible way that would drag Israel into the dirtiest possible war where Israel would take the blame. This is Hamas thinking. This is the Iranian strategy. This is the mullah hatred projected through this war. And it was inevitable for Israel. This is where, I get so, I don't want to say, I'm not frustrated, I'm not angry. I'm just furious. I'm just furious about the situation. So basically you're telling me about generations. This is not the time right now to talk about how the damage is not only in Gaza. Everybody who watch on the social media, on TV, the atrocities of Gaza and human brutality at its best, or should I say at its worst. How can they forget that? Why do you think people are very angry? Because this is bringing the truth of death, the truth of the other side of humanity, of human cruelty, where there is no compassion, where there is no love, when there is absence of God, where there is absence of truth. This is how low we went. Yes, now we are in modern cities, but I'm not sure, if you continue like this, I don't know all the facades surrounding us and the fashion and the infrastructure, etc., technology, our satellites. And we brag about stuff, And the person who understands satellite and launching missiles into space, let him focus on that part. This is his specialty. Stay out of the business that you don't understand. Don't even give advice about it. Now it's the time to sit down and listen. It's not the time to sit and to stand and talk to the world. Let those who understand the situation talk. It's not your turn now. Respect that. And you know what I mean when I say these words.
Yeah, I do.
So with that said...
I definitely do.
Okay. So basically, if you want to build a generation and talk about, oh my God, we are killing Hamas, but we are creating many other Hamases. Of course. But we have to eradicate Hamas first. This job needs to be done. We have to finish with this task first. This is the hard task. Then after that, we can deal with the human trauma. How to heal not only Gaza, to heal the entire world by showing everybody that the use of violence is a dead end. And what Hamas did was a dead end. How do we prove that to be correct? Is by finishing Hamas in Gaza, this war. But if Hamas gets a free ticket out of this, because of our weakness, and because of our hypocrisy, because of our short-term interest, because of our attempt to escape reality and escape our responsibility, then this is going to be repeated not only by Hamas. There will be many other groups that would say, oh, wow, Hamas was able to actually bring Israel as a democracy to its knees. And Hamas was able to create a division in the United States of America, put the United States government in an emergency state. We're talking about Hamas, such a small terrorist group, few thousands in Gaza, but they put us in emergency or at emergency. So how many terrorist groups around the world, savages, are going to look at this and say like, oh, wow, it did not need to take the Soviet Union to actually counter the United States. All you have to do is just have few thousand fighters, and you will be able to bend democracies. You will be able to make them beg for a ceasefire. This is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now it's not about it's not a point of view right now. We are at war. Let the warriors do the job. Those who talk and very good at talking, the sooth talkers, etc., they can sit down and watch. When the war is over, they can speak again.
What percentage of civilians in Gaza do you think support Hamas? I know some people, many people maybe might even see Hamas as their only hope, their only resistance, but surely many also realize that Hamas is partially responsible for the situation they face right now and did trigger this particular response.
Hamas is not the first Palestinian leadership that pause as the protector of the innocent Palestinian people. Yasser Arafat, it took him 40 years. How many airplanes he hijacked? He ruined Jordan. He ruined Lebanon. He ruined Tunisia. Wherever his people went, they brought destruction and chaos. This is, where terrorists thrive. This is where Hamas thrive, when there is chaos. They don't like order. When there is order, they die. There is no need for them. What the Palestinian people need, they don't need Hamas, a terrorist organization, savages, that they ignite a war in order for them to cultivate wealth and power and territory, etc. They don't care for the people. What people need, they don't even need a state. What we need to build a nation. And I said this many times. Hamas is fighting for a statehood. Palestinian Authority was fighting for a statehood. Yasser Arafat was fighting for a state. Everybody fighting for a state. But no one is investing any effort to build a nation. You know why? Because building a nation requires selfless leadership. A model like Gandhi that would drop all the personal gain in order to build a nation. And that's not me, because I'm not posing as the Palestinian leader. I don't want to be the Palestinian leader. I don't like sheep, and I am not a shepherd. I'm just individual, and I am enough unto my own. But those who want to be in leadership, then they better be selfless. Build a nation. It takes a lot more effort to build a nation. Once we have a nation, a Palestinian nation, then we can start the discussion about a Palestinian state. But they want the state, because with the state comes power. With the nation comes lots of work and responsibility. They don't want that. They want the fruit, but they don't want the effort or to invest the effort. Hence, to this, I don't know what to call them actually, Nothing actually can define them. Because they're lower than the lowest definition that comes to my mind. So with that said, let's finish with Hamas. Then after that, we can help the Palestinian people. We can bring some police force and give them small guns. We don't need to give them big guns. Someone who's moderate, reliable, and we can keep them in check. Before we give them money, we see how they spend the money. We can borrow land from Egypt and expand Gaza, make a greater Gaza, instead of this very populated place. We can build economy. We can build bridges with the rest of the world in order to speed up the process of economic growth. I wrote a proposal about this many years ago. Nobody even listened to that. What we need is to give people education, healthcare, economy, infrastructure, a police force, so a girl or a youngster can travel safely. And this is more than enough. I don't want even to think about a Palestinian state. I don't care for a Palestinian state. We have 22 Arab states, and all of them are garbage. I don't want another Arab state in that region. It's enough. They have all the human resources. They have everything. Human resources, natural resources, and they are behind. Pathetic example of beings. I'm talking about leaderships, and I'm talking about a majority of a nation that is falling from grace, that is incapable of saying that this is a terrorist group, to condemn terrorism. When they agree on something like this, when they stay in silence, they are partnering with this predator. So with that said, let's not jump ahead. We have job to do now. Priorities. Priority number 1, eradicating Hamas. Priority number 1.